So, with Mendy's request, I'll share a story I shared the other day. I was just reading. I'm going to highly recommend the set of Svarim. It's Mamish. It's Mayim Karem al Nefesh HaYetzim. You're always reading stories, the Rebbe stories here and there. But if you want to have your dose, weekly dose, you can even do it daily. I wake up in the morning, I grab that sefer, and it jolts my day up. It just wakes me up. So there's a couple of years ago, I picked up a sefer called I think it's Haseidim Shulchan or Haseidim something like that. Basically, it's like a gathering of stories given out by, I think, Rabbi Halperin from Kfar Chabad on Pesach. And I remember when I read it, it was like phenomenal. It's basically a collection from all the Kfar Chabads of all the years, everything related to Pesach. And you know how it is. Everything that's most remotely connected to any pasuk in the Haggadah, kind of becomes a story. It's like a fat book like this, and I couldn't put it down over Pesach. It was so rich. That Pesach was so rich in my house because I had so many Rebbe stories that were so wild. And last year I saw that they have a whole set, 5 volumes called Parshiyos Rebbe. It's not sichos. It's stories collected from all the Kfar Chabads of all the years, and they're just crazy. It's like not normal. It's like the magnitude of the stories that we have from the Rebbe that is like from every element in life, whether it's life, whether it's crazy things. So I try as much as I can, whether I started in the morning, if I'm drinking coffee, I tend to read a story or two. Shabbos in the morning, Shabbos Malava Malka, it's my companion now. So the other day I was away for last week, so I wasn't here. And I took it with me. Especially when you go and you're traveling, you have to really select your svarim. What are the ones you want to schlep with you? So this was one of them I took along with me. And as we're thinking, I was thinking a little bit about this dauntingness of this big event that we want to pull off, and now it's less than a month. I was beginning to get like a little cold feet, thinking that this might be a little too big for us to get done before the Rosh Hashanah. That was just the thoughts that were creeping in my mind. Maybe, and on the one hand, I feel very strongly that we need to tackle the af. We need to, but I was also reading. I was doing Shnai Mikra last week, and Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Ki yagorti mipnei af." I was afraid of af. So the year af turned out to be pretty tough for us. And Moshe Rabbeinu af. My father showed me a Zohar where the Zohar says that our 5, this af, this chema, and af is pretty hard to deal with. We had a year of af. And you see, the Rebbe addresses it in that famous Sikha of Vayigash. The Rebbe talks about the af because the whole lowliness of this world that needs a tikkun is. I hope I'm not getting in between the mountains over here. Okay, I hope I'll keep a good connection. If not, someone will take over and I'll get back to it when I come out. Because I see where in front of me we're getting a little bit into the canyons here. But Moshe Rabbeinu. So what was I saying there? That so the Rebbe addresses the af, and the Rebbe talks about the flipping of the af. So I really feel that we need to Reish Hashanah ad Achar Shana, even if it's the last week of the year. The year. Not even if. When Mashiach comes, and he's going to be in Tavshin Pei Aleph, we're going to remember Pei Aleph not because of the Corona, not because of the surf side of Chasveh, because of the tragedy, this, that. We're going to remember Af as the most craziest year of all. So I really have a deep sense that we need to get it done this year. But again, then there's the practical side of you that says, that. So I read this amazing. I opened up, and here's the story I read. That Rabbi Avram Hersh Koyen is his name. I knew him. He was, when I learned to Mir Yeshiva Yerushalayim, I used to hang out quite a bit in the Meisha Adem Shtibel of Chabad. Lubavitch has I think there's even a Chof Chabad there in the Meisha Adem area. There is, maybe the Chof Chabad is in, I think is in the old city, but there's a Meisha Adem, And there's an old Lubavitch shul that Moshe Weber was the Rav. And then Chaim Hirsch Koyen was one. He had a Svarim store, if I remember. And what I didn't know that he was a shtickle bit. He was a Rosh Hashiva and told this Adon as well. I guess there were a few Yerushalmim that, for whatever reason, went, even though they didn't come from Lubavitch Shpachas, for whatever reason, they went to learn in Tomchei Tmimim, wasn't Tomchei Tmimim, what's the yeshiva in Yerushalayim called? What was it called?
There's Emes?
What?
Toiras Emes?
Yeah.
Oh. The Taka hit. The Ruvain, you hit those mountains.
Anyway,
you hit the mountains.
You hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit.
No. I'm pretty clean now. Okay. So what happened is that he receives an Erev Rosh Hashanah in the morning, comes home from shul. He has an express letter from the Rebbe. This is in Tov Shin Yud Zayin. So I think it's Erev Rosh Hashanah Tov Shin Yud Zayin. In the morning, he has a letter sent expressed him from the Rebbe. But the Rebbe tells him that Ayois, in the newspaper of the Neturei Karta, I forgot the name of the newspaper. It wasn't even such a major circulating newspaper. I think it was just a pretty minimal circulation. Yet someone wrote an article against Chassidus.
You went mute. You hit mute. Ruvain. Oh, there you
wrote
go.
it. So the Rebbe writes. The Rebbe also the article was against Chassidus, and the Rebbe was very upset. The Rebbe tells him that this happened. You can't go by without a tekuva, without a response. We have to respond immediately. And the way the response needs to be to a write-up against Chassidus is that we have to start a shir Chassidus right away in the very shul of the Neturei Karta. You hearing me? In the shul of Neturei Karta, there has to be a shir Chassidus. And the Rebbe says it should be before the Shoshana. Tavshin Yud Zayin, because it should be done publicly, because they smeared Chassidus publicly, so the tikkun has to be publicly in shul, and there should it should be b'haskamasa, whatever. There should be a shir Chassidus, and it should be because they started way before. It should start at least at the end of the year, even before the Shoshana. So it should be considered as if they learned Chassidus there the whole year, and it should be b'pum.
You went mute again. Something's going on there.
Okay, no, I'm getting a phone call, that's why. Bevada, you will be matzliach, and the reason you'll be matzliach is because the naftacha that every Indian of Chassidus, when he told in Yiddish Shemayim, Yad Chassidim al Elyonim. Anyways, he got this letter and he doesn't know what to do. How is he going to start a shir at Rosh Hashanah? Everybody's busy and they got the shir, a public shir. He didn't know what to do, and playing in his mind his connections, this, that. He decided no other choice. He must go to Rav Amram Bloy. Rav Amram Bloy is the head of the Neturei Karta himself, and speak to him about the shir. So he gathered up the courage, knocked on the door. Rav Amram Bloy was already like a chatzos time, or after that, Erev Rosh Hashanah, everybody's busy with Yom Tov. He knocks on the door and he says, I have an important message. The Lubavitch should have sent me a letter today. I need to start a shikha. He had no idea how he's going to react. And he basically, he tells him that he also received a letter from the Rebbe the same day. Interesting how the Rebbe sent it to these two people. The Rebbe didn't tell them that they should meet with each other. The Rebbe told him a letter that there needs to be a shich chassidus in your shul. So when he saw that he also got the letter, he realized that this is, Maila. Reb Chaim Hirsch said that he had a strong hergish. He had a very strong hergish that there's some kitrug l'mayla from this, that the Rebbe is trying to avoid before the Shoshana. In any case, Reb Amram said, you know what we're going to do? He called his two sons, he called his son-in-law, and maybe another 2-3 people, and he said, we're going right now to the shul. And that's what they did. They went to shul, Erev Rosh Hashanah. They sat down in the shul. Everybody saw the head over there sitting down and they're learning Shech Chassidus. And then he notified the Rebbe, like after the Shoshana, about what happened. The Rebbe was Molei B'Simcha. that it took place and that it happened. I forgot the Rebbe said something, but it was an amazing. So when I read that, I said, "That's it. If he can pull it off, we can pull it off. We're going to get it done. Has to happen." I'm going to go off for a minute, and I'm going to return again. So it's a very important call. I'm going to be back in about 5 minutes. Okay. So Bear, you guys should whatever. I'll be right back.
Cindy, I was wondering if you had something you can share, maybe an update with the communication that we had. If anybody has someone that they think would be a good guest that we can bring on, if like we said, Golas plans brings Mashiach when they're the right plans. So that style planning, perhaps we could bring someone on, can inspire, maybe next week. Or the following week, whatever. It's hard to think forward, pushing out without thinking, Mashiach's arrival. Any questions, comments?
I wrote a landing page for Yaakov Kahneman on the the Bikshu, and I should share it with somebody so or share it with everybody so that people can put comments or add things, et cetera, et cetera. So Mendy, I'll send it to you, and then you can send it around and just see if anybody wants to add things or change things, et cetera, et cetera. The website itself is I assume, going to be very simple. There's, basically going to be an introduction and lists of haskamas and shurim.
And then, of course, the day of, it'll be hosting the event. Yeah. I was just thinking post-event, like looking back at it, you're supposed to project and look backwards and then shape things based on the way what you want to happen. And I was just thinking, how incredible this is. I mentioned something yesterday, quoting Rabbi Majeski, Rabbi Shlomo Majeski. He has a weekly little Fabrengen 25-minute recording on WhatsApp. And he was mentioning that we're in the year of Plei Sarenu. And I don't know how good a quoter I am, but the point is that he said that this series of videos that we've seen that comes from the Litvische world, like the Chavetz Chaim Foundation, and the fact that they're talking about Mashiach in the manner that they're talking about Mashiach, how they're literally using the words that the Rebbe said, qualifies for Pulei Sarenu. It qualifies for miracles on the level of Pulei Sarenu. And that's how I felt when I first saw that one video, the one with the Chavetz Chaim and the other rabbis from that kreis. It was like, it's incredible. It's really, really amazing. And I think the Rebbe taught us to see things as they happen and recognize that they're special. Appreciate the unique, almost unprecedented nature of these things. Not let it slip by us. And of course, get behind them and continue to promote, give them backing so that they should feel supported.
Do you know the sefer that that Ruvain was talking about? It's Parshas Arbaim.
I tried to look it up as he was mentioning it. I thought I could send the link to the chat, but I couldn't find it. I think it's in Hebrew. I need to get a Hebrew keyboard to find it. On my phone I have it, not my computer. So if anybody has a link, it would be great. You could send it. The point was that the Rebbe said, let's get it done now, not to wait. So we have to do it. And I think that as soon as we, hopefully by the end of the week, Hashem, when this thing is pulled together and we have a flyer and we have promotional materials, this is when it's gonna fall on us to promote the daylights out of it. And I think that if possible, if everyone who was on now, if you brought other chevra onto the Minatzchim group, if you could reach out again to those people personally, even in a WhatsApp message or whatever it is, and say, guys, this is where we need it, it's because I'm afraid if I put it out to the group, there's so much posted there, it's not going to be recognized, like, okay, another thing. And it falls through the cracks because there's so much posting these days, not just on our group, on all the groups. But if everyone could pull it out of the regular nature of posts and mobilize, this is what we're here for. I think everybody in the Menachem wants to do something, otherwise it wouldn't be part of it, We mentioned yesterday there was at least 120 shluchim in some capacity joined the Menachem at some point. Just a few people left. Everyone who left the groups, I follow up with them. I asked them why, and they said, it's just, this was the answer on 3 occasions. I don't know, I wasn't really following. I was, so much going on. I really should come back. So they said, I should really come back. So their heart's there, but time is limited.
Extreme ignorance. What's the program that you're working on?
Sandy, could you take that answer? What are we working on? By the way, Mordechai, if you don't mind rephrasing that and saying,
Okay,
what is it that we, no, you said you, I want to hear a we.
Wait, okay. What's this program that obviously we're all working to bring Mashiach.
No, just to reiterate, I guess for the recording, for those that are on, to just really kind of go back and remind everybody, try to remind everybody about the unprecedented nature of this. We're discussing, especially on the Hatzlacha of the Tut Alt Mifza, and how it showed us that really the Gans Lubavitch is incredibly ba'achtus. And the fights, the politics, etc., is such a zaitik zach that the Yetzer Hara turns into such a big thing that presents such an obstacle to the power that we have when we're together. Everybody wanted to be part of this mitzvah. Nobody needed that it should say a certain line. It shouldn't say a certain line. It should have a certain adjective. It shouldn't have a certain adjective by the Rebbe's name. It was just everybody wanted to learn the Rebbe's status on the Yergul Mashiach from Eretz Yisrael to the United States, from Mat Mashiach to Mecca 302. All the meisters and every kila, and it said. So then the next thing was taking it out to the next level. Was that really what is it that the Rebbe was constantly asking for time in and time out? Was that the ganze Welt soll schreien Mann und Mashiach. So, and with all the various things that have come, it's obvious. It's the whole Welt, the whole Yiddish Welt is ready. Not only are they ready, each one in their own way is Taka calling out for Mashiach. If anything, we have crossed a Rubicon where Amol, Mashiach was the taboo subject. If there was something that in a sense displayed the fault lines and the divisions among the Yidden, it was the concept of Mashiach. Now, I think we could all agree that kashrus is still the levels of kashrus and the politics and Eretz Yisrael. All these things are still fraught with division. The one thing that the ganze Welt is united on, the ganze from the Welt, is Mashiach and Man and Mashiach. The Litvish Welt, the Chofetz Chaim Foundation just did, what do they call it? One nation, one goal, one path. Going back home, and we have all the clips that came from that with Rabbi Sorotskin speaking Pashat Verta from the Rebbe. He said in the name of Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, but they come from the Rebbe. So without a shayla, the idea that Mashiach Pasha is standing on the other side of the door, and the only reason he hasn't come through is because he's waiting for us to call him in. I mean, these it could be that Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky got it from the Rebbe. That doesn't make a difference. The point is the Litvische Welt schreit, the Chassidische Welt schreit, the modern Orthodox Welt schreit, obviously the Lubavitch schreit. So to bring it together in the same way that Tut Alts Mitzvah, besides for the fact that we're alle gelernt, mit das gelernt zusammen, there was no division, the power, unprecedented, and with this Zoom has given us an opportunity that we can unite the entire Yiddish Welt for the first time in history. Not only do we have the physical kalim for it, but the Yidden are kalim for it. All of us are together in this. In the first time since the Eibishter created the world, you can have all the Yidden coming together, pe echad, in one moment, von alle Kreisen, calling out and say, Eibishter schickt uns shein de Geula. And how many times did the Rebbe ask for this? And how simple is it to make it happen? You put the right names of the people who can speak, each one a leader in their own kreis, to make their kreis feel comfortable that they're on board with this. Names from the Litvische Welt, from the Chassidische Welt, from the Sverdische Welt, from the modern Orthodox Welt, and we're lining up the names as we speak. Shlomo Amar, the Talmud Rebbe, Melech Biderman, Rabbi Yerucham Olshen from Lakewood. We're going to get from Chaim Kanievsky. We have Rabbi Lau and Rabbi Amar, both the chief rabbis of the Ashkenazi and the Sephardic, Rabbi Warren Goldstein. These are names, and it's happening. So you put down that list of names, and you have a couple others that are promoting it. And obviously, when Lubavitch and names like Rabbi Lipsker, who I think just officially came on board from Surfside, including Rabbi Beryl Lazar, who is not only on board, but he's helping facilitate the other names, which is by uns, he's a chashuv name. By the Veltis also, he's the chief rabbi of Russia, and he's recognized as such, and he's tied with all the other chief rabbis, other rabbanim around the world. So you put together this list, and this is actually where we're talking about where we can get the help from the Minatzchim, because instead of asking everybody to tune in from their computers, first of all, certain kreisen, they don't have, they are not comfortable having internet on their computers. So the other thing we can do, and we can do this with the manpower, is we get 50 or maybe even more, 100 shluchim to make phone calls to as the lists of the Kehilas and the heads of their Kehilas. In other words, like the Talucha list, as I mentioned in the 770, has a list of every shul within walking distance of 770 Crown Heights, and walking distance includes miles and miles away. So you have the names, you have the Rabbanim. You say this program, an unprecedented historic event with the ganze Welt, and all you have to do is list the names, and whichever one, there's all of a sudden it's not we're asking them to come on board with the Lubavitch Zach. First of all, they don't even have to know that it's Lubavitch. When you introduce yourself, you're not introducing yourself as a Chabad Shliach or whatever it is. You're introducing yourself. Hi, my name is Raya. I'm representing this global effort, and you start listing the names of everybody, including a vod of Taimchim, of those that are endorsing the event from all of the Kreisen. So, you can mention Rav Chaim Kanievsky and Shlomo Amar and Yisrael Me'alau and Warren Goldstein and Melech Biderman and Yerucham Olshen and Rav Shlomo Arush. You mention these names, and all of a sudden everybody appreciates the magnitude of what this is. This is the ganze Yiddish Welt together. And so which Rav, and you're asking this Rav or this Reish Meised of, let's say, a school, elementary school, to gather all their Talmidim together, all their in the shul, make this a thing that on Sunday of Slichas, as it is. It's a time where Faket, you're presenting to Rabbanim, to rabbis and shuls, an opportunity to bring the Kehillah together in something that makes sense. It happens to be the one day where they're not saying Sichas that morning because they said it last night. So you're giving them an opportunity to come bring their ilm together for a moment of his oiderness. And to be part of this global event. They should do it in their shul, they should broadcast in their shul. And so all the shuls, everybody comes together. And if they can, the people in the Kehillas here, having heard it, know that they can, for whatever, be in the shul, at least they'll be motivated to come and do it. And it'll be in the Hamodia, and it'll be in the Ami magazine, and it'll be on Vasas Niles, it'll be on Yeshiva World Network, whatever they call that, the Yeshiva World News, and the V'chulu, and it'll be on Minatzchim and all the WhatsApp groups. There's no reason why there will not be 1 million Yidden coming together for this event. And the Maila is that we pre-record it, we set it all up in advance. So all that happens is at 1 p.m. 770 time, which is 10 a.m. Los Angeles, which is 8 p.m. Eretz Yisrael. So you got really pretty much, except for Australia, covered. And if Australia wants to come aboard and gain enough Messias Nefesh to wake up at 2 in the morning or whatever time it is, Matayv, they should. But it's not as user-friendly as it is for the rest of us. But the bottom line is that we can do this, and I can. 1 million Yiddish voices calling together at once for the Geula Shlema. That should do it. Stel Zecher Chas v'Sholem Hayalei see Gullah's plans. It doesn't. It doesn't change the fact that now you have 1 million Yidden understanding that they are part of 1 million Yidden calling out for the Geula. And they're going to want more. They're going to hear more. They're going to. At that moment, we are once again putting on the map that everybody should be proactive in the Yiddish Welt to bring Mashiach. We're changing the paradigm as the ganze Yiddish Welt understands that it's our achrayus to mannen for Mashiach. And that's what made the clip of Saratskin so powerful. What was he telling everybody? We can't sit there, be passive, and say, Mashiach, yeah, when Mashiach comes, I want him. I want Mashiach, yeah, I want Mashiach. No, he was saying, get out of the passenger seat and get into the driver's seat. We all have to do it. We all have to make the time in the day to call out for the Geula Shlema. So really, this is what it is. The effort is minimal compared to the results. And to a certain degree, a lot of the hard part has already been done. The names, the buy-in from the various kreis, and even if we just went with the names that we currently have, that already would be something that is extremely compelling. And Amir Hashem, once the other names hear about the names that have already bought in, now they'll be a lot more comfortable buying in. There's no doubt we are going to have Amir Hashem a million plus minus. And it really would then just be about what the time constraints are. We can have more, but we'll have 1 million of names that are recognizable around the Yiddish Welt from alle Kreisen. And so this is something, again, the Nachas Ruach that the Rebbe has from such a thing is if we think about from Reuven's story a minute ago, how much it affected the Rebbe that one little kreis was speaking against Chassidus in public. How much that affected the Rebbe. It's nicht kein kleine Zach. It's not like we are onto ourselves and Lubavitch and Kishen Tachas have the rest on the rest of the world. The Rebbe was very concerned about what is being broadcasted by Andere Kreisen and by the heads of the Andere Kreisen. And here you're going to have that every kreis is coming together and is calling for the Geula. Just can vorstellen, and you want, and I'm saying this to the fellow shluchim here, you want your name on that duch to the Rebbe, that you were part of this. You want your name on that duch. And Amir Hashem, if we are successful, and Mashiach comes because of this, you're going to say that you had the opportunity, you were being begged to jump in at the, in investment terms, right? You're being offered to come in at the ground level.
Sandy, I think not only do you want your name on it, you want all your chaverim's name on it.
Exactly. And so really at this point it's about saying here we are, we zijn great to eintelnemen, and we have to make it happen. We have to make it happen, and the more input, the more manpower, the greater, more powerful, and more impactful this becomes. And so it's not really it's so easy, but the results are so epic. It's almost it's lahafli that and to a certain degree, look, Tuba of they just did it. They just did it. Tuba of there was a worldwide call. Is so close to the etzem, so close. They're shooting and hitting the rim again and again. But the slam dunk is right there. Bring that same energy for the Gula Shlem. Why are we asking? Really, turn to any of these rabbanim that signed on for the Tuba of and says you just were part of a worldwide effort that in Gullus soll sein gut. That in Gullus we should have shidduchim. You're shooting already. Go for the goal. Go for it all. If you believe in the power of Yiddish tefillah, so that in Gullus soll sein besser? There's only one bracha. There's only one bracha to shoot for, and that's it. And so mir wissen das. It's time that we get on the what's it called and make sure the ganze Welt is on this. So Mitzvah Hashem, I'm saying really this week, the names are really coming together, and it looks like that and the graphics and the design there's already a logo. Anybody ever showed the logo here?
How do we do it?
Let's see if I can put in the, is there a way file? Yeah, let me see if I can add.
Share your screen?
Either share my screen, yeah, why not? Okay, I'll give you an example of something I just put together with the logo to give a direction for this, but this is in no way what's happening yet. And a lot of the names, only because this is a Gevisa Hamish crowd over here. I'm not even sure if we say that stop the recording, but I don't think we need it because the only problem is I'm afraid this getting, and then we're going to have the 3 kapitach tilim. Why wouldn't the ganze Yiddish? And honestly, it's on the shluchim to bring as many of our Chabad house crowd. And what happens if we put this out there? And I think we have to do, and this is another thing we all have to do, is we have to do outreach to our fellow shluchim to say that Sunday we should all be gathering our Chabad house together. And so add to whatever this is, 4,000 Batei Chabad full of Yidden asking for the Gula. This is.
I didn't see anything about music on the flyer. That should probably be on, no?
Right. Well, that also comes down to, guys, this is one of the, the Rebbitzin is away. When the Rebbitzin is away.
It's called reality.
Yes, exactly.
Camp. It's camp. It's camp.
It's camp. It's summer camp. It's chayis. It's lebedekai. Anyways, the point being that by the way, I realize that we are over time, so I don't know if that's
I was asking about the music or entertainment.
Music, I think, is part of the things that we actually had a meeting with. I noticed he popped in. So, Reb Ruven, when you're watching the recording, as somebody who has is joining the effort, more from the Gashmia side of things, that is going to be a big aspect about how much, in a sense, we employ other production value things. The major expenses we're looking at right now for this so far is simply the branding, the graphics, and then purchasing the ad space of the Hulu. If there is more financial backing, then we build this into a bigger production of the event itself. The event will include perhaps a live studio presentation, because right now we don't have to do that. And that's an extra, that's a tough one. The ikr is to have everybody have the video prepared and have everybody tune in. If, Mitzvah Hashem, we find further backing. If anybody knows a balabas or somebody who is passionate about Mashiach and would love to get on board for this unprecedented event, then adrabeh, share that information. If you don't share the information of the balabas, you can go directly to the balabas and just share the check. That also works. But the bottom line is that the more funds, the more we can add, including musical entertainment, either live entertainment, or we can to prepare in advance, or even just for them to do a promo video. All these things are options. So there's the sky's the limit. One thing that there is no that there isn't an unlimited amount of is time, and so that's why, to a certain degree, this becomes a big push right now to see this through in as quick of a timeline as possible. So, Aniya Shali Amarti.
Shkoyach. All right, I think our friend Reb Ruven came back on for a little bit, and then I don't know, he maybe he's traveling in the car, he got lost. But thank you everyone for being here. And in midst Hashem, as soon as we have direction and materials, it's full steam ahead.
Yeah. All right.
Shkoyach, Sandy.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Mendel, next week, not you, not me, not Ruvain, and also the label now has spoken a few times. None of us are speaking. None of us are speaking. Other chaver are going to speak. Not only voice questions and make comments, but speak. And like Ari took it, and I think when Ari grabbed the microphone, he inspired everybody, including myself. I haven't shared. I share with you personally, Ari, the ping pong back. But maybe for a different time. But we have a good chaver here. Everybody put on notice. And the truth is, Aaron Isaac also shared a bit. But man, everybody's tired of hearing the same voices.
Okay.